matter how old you are, you'll never stop being shamed for being a single woman. I mean, even when you are in your 70s, they're still going to push this narrative of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Okay, so I hope you didn't watch this show, but I watched it so you don't have to, and I have some good lessons to take away from it that I would like to share. I've already done a bunch of videos on this show, but I watched the wedding also so you don't have to. This stupid, I can't even believe that they think we take this seriously given that this dude is a hobosexual. But anyway, it just goes to show you, at this wedding, there's some really good lessons to come out of it. And one is that even when you are in your 70s, you could have buried husbands, you could have raised a bunch of kids, you could have had the most amazing career ever, and you're living your best life, and they're still gonna push the narrative that you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It's so crazy. Now, I firmly believe that the tides are changing. I do actually believe that, I don't know, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, single women will not be made fun of anymore, and instead they will be seen as oh, wow, look at you holding out. Look at you respecting yourself, not settling, centering yourself. I do believe that day is coming. But they're just going to fight it to the last breath, being like, you need a man. You need a man. You got to be a hospice wife. Even if you've already buried a husband, bury another one. Take care of him so he can take your money like Gary's going to. Dude who claimed he was a restaurateur and really he owned a hamburger joint 40 years ago. And he's really a pool janitor or something. Liar. And also he just as soon as his wife died, he just started dating a bunch of women, used them, kicked one out of his house because she wasn't skinny enough. Come on. I already covered that in another video. I'll link it in my caption. They're supposed to believe, they just ignored that whole story. That whole expose in the Hollywood Reporter that was basically, yeah, he's a hot tub maintenance man. Dumped his girlfriend in January 2020 because she gained a little bit of weight. If you have not read this thing in the Hollywood Reporter that came out over a month ago, this dude just sucks. He's not this nice guy. Oh, who cries? He's so emotional. No, he's a liar. I hope to God that Teresa, or whatever her name is, the woman he married, I hope she signed a prenup. She was the most desperate woman on the show, so of course he was with her, right? She was just oh my God, I love you, right? Whatever. He knew that this woman is a pick-me, and she had money. As soon as he found out she had money, he was he never even asked her what she did. And once he found out she was a finance manager or whatever, he was oh. Now, I had 3 of my favorite women on this show. Honestly, I hate this show. But what I love is the friendship that forms between all the women who don't end up marrying a loser. I love that. And I love her. I love Sandra. I love Susan. And I love Natasha. Those were my favorite women. Sandra was such an example of just joy and friendship. She's a girl's girl, I think. That's my impression. Sandra is just I love her. She's hilarious. She loved to say the F word. She talks about her schmegs life with her husband. She's yeah, we did it everywhere. I love this. I love this because they try to make it seem once women age that all of a sudden we don't care about schmegs. We're not, hello, it works the opposite. I get hornier every year. So, everything that they have taught me about aging and being a woman is literally men's projection of what's true for them, right? We don't hit a wall, they hit a wall. They are the wall. We're the ones who age well, they don't. Have you seen older men? Have you even seen men from high school when they hit 30? They don't take care of themselves. They eat like crap. The only reason why they don't eat even worse is because their wives make them eat better. They don't wash their butt. That's literally why Robert Downey Jr. has his wife. Is he said he has good hygiene. That's how low the bar is, y'all. Women are as long as you wash your butt. And people gave her so much crap, by the way. Because if there's one thing that these dating shows do is they hate women in general and humiliate women, but they really, really hate black women. And she got so much crap for being selfish for missing her daughter's wedding. And I already did a whole video on that. Her daughter was we're good. It's an 8-minute ceremony at the courthouse. It was not even her first wedding, I think. Her daughter's in her 50s. And her son-in-law was no, don't come. Sandra had no idea. They don't know when they're going to get cast, if they're going to get cast on a show, when they're going to be shooting. She had no idea Okay? So honestly, like, she wasn't centering men. I believe she chose to miss her daughter's wedding so she could be in this great adventure that's fun where she met all these cool women and got to be on TV. It wasn't about this dude, right? Oh, but they made Gary look like he's the family man who's like, maybe we should call your daughter. Like, shut up. First of all, the producers arranged that whole thing, okay? I know this. I worked in reality TV. I was on an episode for National Geographic Reality. I know this world, okay, before anyone's like, what are you talking about? So this whole thing was not his idea, okay? But they love to frame it like, oh, you missed your daughter's wedding? What a terrible mom you are. Maybe we should call her. Let's just get back to the wedding episode and just how stupid it was. So they start off with Teresa talking to Gary and being like, you know what? This is the last night we ever have to spend alone, because being alone's so bad. Yeah, for men it is, not for us. I guarantee you this woman was not alone, okay? She's got a big old family she's very close to. I'm sure she has a ton of friends. Good luck, you're never seeing them again, Therese, because this man's gonna exhaust you. Also, he's probably snores. Probably has sleep apnea, probably doesn't wear the machine thing. So good luck ever sleeping again. Yeah, this is your last night of peace, Teresa. To go home to each other. Yeah, he's probably moving into your house. The dude doesn't have any money. He already lied about everything else. And instead of taking you on a proper honeymoon, he's like, let's use the free trip to Italy as our honeymoon so I don't have to pay for crap. Okay, so then we get into the show and the host is all like, hey, by the way, you know how dedicated I am? I'm gonna miss my daughter's or my child's birth. That's right. My wife is expecting and could pop at any moment. It could happen tonight. Hey, so babe, I miss you. I love you so much. Call me if you start having contractions. Like, bro, I don't even know you, but now I hate you because your wife is gonna pop any moment and you may not be there. Fuck you. Then they have like Gary's daughters on there. And this woman, she's actually really funny, but she definitely plays into this, like, I am desperate to get married thing. She's still saying, like, hey, how do I still get married? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like, she literally said that. And then they're all like, the whole show, everyone's like, don't worry, you too could be a bride one day. As if that's the goal now. Come on. They still want us so bad to believe that getting married is the end goal. We're not falling for it anymore. We're hoping. So, Teresa talks about how her first wedding, honestly, Teresa, I think you've been watching like bride stuff too much. I think you really wanted a nice wedding because you got married in a basement. I hate that for you, but that's no reason to marry a gold digger. Just like most weddings, where the woman is going to be treated like crap, and the man wants nothing to do with this enormous party that is just as much his as hers. She's like, Gary let me do everything. Let me do everything. All he really wanted to do was the cake. He had to know the cake. Great. Okay, Gary, so we already know who's going to be doing all the work in your marriage. By the way, y'all want to see the cake? This gold digger literally made them have a gold cake. The only good thing about this wedding, Natasha made a little, speech right to the camera. And she was like, hey, if you're at home sitting on your butt, get out there, off the couch, go into the world, make a plan, go after that career, make yourself number one. Because you are number one. And she also said, stop taking care of those babies. And because we know that a lot of women, once they raise their own kids, then they end up having to raise grandbabies too. Also had a wedding proposal in the middle of this with some other couple. This douche was like, yeah, I knew she was the girl for me when she told me she had concert tickets to a band that I knew she'd never heard of. And she did know what they were. Like, this dude, his proposal was so stupid. He literally called her his pain in his butt. Wait, don't ever propose to someone at someone's wedding. Tacky. Any man that says he can only, says he loves you because he can be himself unapologetically in front of you, what? I interpret that as him being very insecure with himself and finally he can be his crappy self around her. I understand the sentiment behind that. One of the things that I knew was a major green flag with my husband was that, and it wasn't a green flag for him it was a green flag for him, but it was also a green flag for myself, is that I was so confident in myself already, but I was also so comfortable with him that I have never toned myself down. I'm just blah, blah, like this, which y'all see here. I'm like that in front of him all the time. All the time. I would never not be myself in front of this man. So I think a lot of times, especially for women, it is a green flag if we're like, wow, I am not performing. I'm not doing a one-woman show. I'm not like, doing all this stuff. Like, I'm just like comfortable. I'm relaxed. That's a green flag. But when I hear men say that, a lot of times the way I interpret that, because we know that so many men are just looking for a woman to put up with them. They are literally taught that by their like dad or just by society. That, I mean, how many movies have you heard this? Marry a woman who will put up with you. What? Like, so when I hear stuff like this, like I can be unapologetically myself around you, that to me, I think that is code for you love all of my crappy parts. Now we know that no one is perfect. We all have, things to work on. But also, this guy's moving into her house, right? Moving right in. So my guess is she's got money and he's like, cool. I know she has a kid and everything. Also, that scares me. Because stepdads are oftentimes the biggest threat to children of anyone on the planet, but that's another video. But seriously, the way he talked about this, when he's like, yeah, like, she's trying to tell me like about, this concert she's going to. And I'm like, whatever, you don't know who they are. Like, bro, do you think you're the only person who knows music? Like, even the way he told that story about knowing that she's the one, I'm like, that's how you decided you liked her? Because she knows your favorite band and has tickets to it? But you literally talked to her in such a context, whatever. God! Given the track record of The Bachelor and Love is Blind and all these things, this dude probably has a criminal record like the rest of them. Is probably a liar like the rest of them. And is probably going to ruin her life like the rest of them. So then we cut to, again, one of my favorites, Sandra. And she brings like an escort dude from like that like stripper party or whatever they had. And this was some good comedic relief we needed, right? She's just like, look, I love how she's like unapologetically like corny, right? And by corny, I mean horny, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Another thing that we do not let older women be is schmexual. Like I said before, she's like, look, he brought his 6 friends or his 6 roommates. And then she points to all of them. Here. I love her. This is my role model for how I want to be in my 70s. Confident, unapologetically, whoever I am, still cussing, throwing F-bombs. And this is how I do not want to be when I'm older. Okay, so back to this host. So here's another place where she tries to humiliate a woman who centered herself. She's like, I have a question. Did you really say that you wouldn't move for Gary because you needed to be in your home with your dead horse in the backyard? Now that was a good joke, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, that was one of my favorite parts of the show. This woman is like a horse rider. And if there's anything I've learned about women who ride horses is that they are a big threat to like men a lot of times. Riding horses is expensive. It takes a lot of time. Men get very jealous of a woman having something strong between her legs. It's not him. And so this woman loves her horses. She loves her family. And she's one of the only people who had a hard conversation with Gary about what do we do, bro? Like, if we end up together, where are we going to live? I'm a little concerned about this because I don't want to leave all of this. It's not about leaving her dead horse in the backyard. It's about leaving her family, her community, the life that she has built for herself for decades. Give all that up to go move in with this loser? And she's like, no, I would do it. Right, guy, I would give up everything in my life, everything I've built, my whole community for a man who would never take care of me if I got sick, which is another reason why this show makes me crazy, because there's no reason for women to want to get married at this age. Like, maybe if you find a man who truly, truly loves you and takes care of you and will take care of you, but this idea that women even should want to get married after like 50s and 60s, like, especially if that man is a lying gold digger, right? He's gonna take your money. You're gonna have to like take care of him when he gets sick. One of his first wife already died in his, marriage. I know, like, supposedly it was like a freak accident kind of thing, but I don't know. I'm always suspicious when the wife dies first. He probably wore out. Like, shit, the women at this age have almost no benefit to marrying unless they're marrying into money. But this guy doesn't have money. He just, to me, looks like a lot of work, right? A lot of work, especially if he gets sick first, which most men do. Okay, yeah, for the right guy, I would. Like, stop it. So when Teresa talks about Gary, she says butterflies. Y'all know what I've talked about butterflies. Butterflies is not good. It's okay to be excited when you're around someone you like, but butterflies I only get when I'm around somebody who reminds me of a narcissistic abuser. A lot of times butterflies is your nervous system going, and just ask any woman who's been in an abusive relationship. We all had butterflies when we were around these dudes. Butterflies! Like, I couldn't have found a better partner. Somebody that makes me a better person because I suck so much. I really hate that line. Like, I understand the sentiment. Marriage, you're supposed to both grow together, right? You're supposed to like help each other grow into better people. Like you heal and grow in relation with someone, right? But most men don't want to do that. They're like, oh my God, I met this woman who makes me a better man because alone I suck. I hate that narrative. Bro, make yourself a good person before you meet someone so you don't have to be inspired. God. He also said she makes him calm. Red flag, red flag. Also, like, tricked her. He practical joked her when he proposed to her. He made her wait for a minute and, like, make her think she didn't know that she was the one, that the other chick was gone. She was, like, seriously scared. And then he basically framed it as if he was going to say, sorry, bye, Butch. But instead, and she was terrified. He later admitted, oops. If you're going to play a practical joke when you propose to a woman, red flag. Y'all know what I say about practical jokes in marriages. When her daughter was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you have someone to take you to Italy. Mom could afford to go to Italy on her own. Okay? Teresa, why did you go to Italy? Why are you waiting for some hobo to take you to Italy on the bachelor's dime? You should have gone to Italy on your own and forked a lot of men on that trip. And then you don't need to be with Gary. I think so many women just want lovers, not husbands, because most husbands are nothing but work, right? I think a lot of women need to stop thinking of like marrying, especially as we get older, unless this man is truly a partner, and they do exist, but they're very hard to find because most men will not let go of the power that they get under patriarchy, and they still don't really see us as equal human beings that are deserving of happiness and blah, 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 and they just exploit us. And so, you know what? Like, I wish my happy ending would be in Teresa saying no at the altar and going to Italy and living her best life for like 3 months. And then she's like, take care of my best friend since birth. Okay, that makes me... I know a lot of moms are friends with their daughters, but this is your best friend? Your mom? Like your best friend? Okay. And she gives her mom this advice. And mom, put him first. Oh, you don't need to give her that advice. We already know she's going to do that. She did that through the whole show. That's why he picked her. Other than her finding out that she's got money, she was just like, Gary, I love you. I love you. I'm the girl who will just center you. That's why he picked her. So this right here is not goals, okay? Like, y'all can try to push this narrative on women as much as you want. The Washington Post editorial staff team can put out a whole thing being like, why won't women marry men who don't believe in abortion and women's rights? What's wrong with y'all, right? We can have the New York Times, one of their editors, I did a story on that, being like, you know, women, you really do want marriage. Life is empty without marriage. Like, men are the ones who make this show, right? Men are going to keep pushing this. You got to get married. You want to get married. Even when we're in our 70s. Don't fall for it. Because I guarantee you, Sandra, Susan, Natasha, are the ones who are going to be living their best life in their golden years. Not Teresa.